and Indian navies had parsecs off of Andaman. So what is parsecs? Parsecs is a passing exercise by navies of two countries. You know what a naval exercise exactly means, so I don't have to get into the details of naval exercises. And this naval exercise by Indian and US navies has brought in significant strategic changes in international politics. You may say that Indian Navy and Indian Coast Guard has conducted joint exercises with various foreign countries. So how come this particular parsecs is very significant? Now that is what we are going to see about in this episode. I gave you a one-line definition for parsecs. Now let's see the importance of it. For instance, let's just say there has been a riot in a place. The local police tries very hard to quieten the chaos, but they could not. So what will happen next is some other force other than the local police will be called in, like the CRPF or the BSF will be called in. They will not take any action. They will just be made to march through the streets, and by seeing them, the chaos might settle. This is known as flag march. The parsecs that happened between US and Indian navies is somewhat similar to that. It is just an act of showing power. The US naval ship that took part in this exercise is the USS Nimitz. This ship is the gold ship, which means every navy in the world will want to have a ship like this in their navies. USS Nimitz is the largest warship in the world. I'll tell you the specifications of this ship, then you might understand why this ship is such a huge deal. So as I said, this is the world's largest warship and it is powered by 2 nuclear reactors, 4 steam turbines and 4 shafts. The ship generates 194 megawatts of power. The USS Nimitz is 332.85 meters long. Its beam is 40.84 meters high and the flight deck is 76.8 meters wide. This warship has a maximum speed of 31.5 knots, which is 58.3 kilometers per hour, and due to its nuclear reactors, the warship can technically have unlimited endurance. It has a crew of over 6,000. This includes Navy personnel, the Navy's air wing personnel and the Marines, and the ship also has almost 90 aircraft including fighters. Yes, you heard me right. This ship has over 90 aircraft on board. Its aircraft includes Boeing FA-18F Super Hornets, FA-18E Super Hornets, McDonnell Douglas FA-18C Hornets, Boeing EA-18G Growlers, Northrop Grumman E-2C Hawkeyes, Sikorsky MH-60S Seahawks, MH-60R Seahawks, and Grumman C-2 Greyhound aircraft. These are high-tech, super updated aircraft. The ship's armament includes Sea Sparrow and RIM 116 missiles along with 2 Phalanx close-in weapon system, Gatling guns, 4 Mk38 25mm autocannon turrets and 10.50 caliber turret emplacements. So Indian Navy conducted naval exercise with the world's largest warship somewhere near Andaman Islands. What does this mean? This means that the US is showing its power. The US is showing its presence in the Indian Ocean region to China. And why is US showing its presence in the Indian Ocean region to China? Because for several years, China has been pushing several countries in the Indian Ocean region, including Australia, Indonesia, Philippines and Vietnam. And soon we will know why China is doing so. So by this parsecs, US is saying to China, US is signaling China that the United States of America is present there. US is showing its strength, its might and its power to China in the Indian Ocean region. So this whole parsecs thing is a symbolic one. This parsecs tells us that the world politics has changed because around 50 years ago, that is in 1971 when Indo-Pakistan war was happening, to the same location, that is somewhere near this Andaman Nicobar Islands, another US naval ship came, and that time it came to show its support to Pakistan and to threaten India. US were committed to defending Pakistan in the 1971 war. In fact, the US naval ship came very close to Sri Lanka and also went near East Pakistan, and they had all the possibilities to activate their aircraft either over India or over the battlefield in East Pakistan. We should remember that the 1971 war was actually a result of the Bangladesh Liberation War. Then East Pakistan was fighting to get freedom from West Pakistan because Pakistani army began to commit the barbaric genocide and mass rape on Bengali population, particularly the minority Hindu population. As Pakistan's atrocities increased, former Prime Minister Indira Gandhi decided to take action against Pakistan and give refuge to civilians at the same time. Supporting Pakistani army was not an easy thing to do because the Pakistani army had earned a very bad reputation worldwide for their actions in Bangladesh. So even though the US naval ship had all the possibilities to activate their aircraft, they did not do so because that was not their intention, and also their intention was only to threaten India. If India had shifted its focus from East Pakistan to West Pakistan, that is the mainland Pakistan, then the US naval ship might have interfered. In the same war, India was able to face the Americans because of the peace, friendship and cooperation treaty signed between India and Soviet Union. In a way, Soviet Union guaranteed security to India. More importantly, the treaty guaranteed that if there was a third-party intervention in the 1971 war, then the Soviet Union will help. That means it will help in the liberation of East Pakistan. But if India decided to shift its focus to West Pakistan and continue the conflict there, then Soviet Union pointed out that it cannot help India. Very rarely big countries will come to help at war. In rare cases like Vietnam and Afghanistan, big countries get involved full-fledged. When there is a war between two countries and one country is much stronger or larger than the other, then the smaller nation will be in need of allies. In India's case, if there is a war between India and China, then India will definitely need an ally. But if there is a threat from Pakistan, then India will not need an ally unless a much bigger country backs Pakistan. Also, if a country has enemies in more than one side, then it will need allies to safeguard the other sides while it concentrates on the battle in one side. So these are broadly the defense strategies followed by India, and by now you might have understood the importance and the applications of international allies. Now coming back to the Pacifics that happened recently, in a strong strategic signal to China amidst the military confrontation in eastern Ladakh, USS Nimitz conducted a cooperative exercise with Indian warships in the Indian Ocean this week. To intensify this message even further, India has deployed maritime strike fighters in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. These islands dominate China's critical sea trade routes passing through the Malacca Strait. The Indian Air Force has stationed around 10 Jaguars, which are aircrafts armed with deadly anti-ship missiles. It overlooks the maritime boundaries of Southeast Asia. The operations of the USS Nimitz currently deployed to the Indian Ocean are to provide security throughout the Indian Ocean region while building partnerships with friends and allies. The stationing of Jaguars in the Andaman and Nicobar strengthens India's military posture against China's vulnerability in the Indian Ocean region. Now and then, India operates Sukhoi 30s and other fighters from the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, but they are not permanently based there. Now, the deployment of Jaguars there underlines the capability of Indian Air Force to support the Indian Navy in the Indian Ocean region. 200 nautical miles from the shore of any country is called exclusive economic zone, and these zones are under the naval control of that particular country. But the presence of Chinese survey ships in these zones have considerably increased over the years. They have gone well into the exclusive economic zones of Malaysia, Vietnam, and since they are using the survey ships and not naval ships, things could not be escalated further. Even when a flight from the Malaysian Airlines disappeared, they used that as an excuse to survey the ocean. The Chinese have been quite brilliant in these moves, and they are doing that just to show that they can. This is the South China Sea map, and you can see the location of Malaysia and Vietnam. China actually claims the entire South China Sea. The reason behind it is the sea has estimated 11 billion barrels of untapped oil and 190 trillion cubic feet of natural gas. China wants all these resources for itself, so it keeps getting into the economic zones of other countries in survey vessels. There are international laws that prevent such movement. It is known as UNCLOS, that is United Nations Convention for the Law of the Sea. But China does not care about these laws. Now the fear is this movement of China might extend to India too. There is something known as Quad. It is a group of 4 countries, US, Japan, Australia and India. And these 4 countries have interest to build a free, open and stable Indo-Pacific region and to stop China from expansioning further. Now, if you remember a few weeks back when the USS Nimitz went to South China Sea, they had a joint drill with Japan Navy. And before that, the US Navy and Australian Navy had a joint naval exercise, and now the US and Indian Navy had participated in a PASEX. This means that the Quad countries are practicing together. The Quad countries are exercising together. So this should definitely worry China. China does not like allies forming against it. Through this PASEX, US is sending a very strong message to China that China is not dealing with individual countries in the Indian Ocean region, but it is also dealing with the presence of US Navy in the Indian Ocean region. So 50 years ago, a US naval ship came to the Indian Ocean region to threaten India, but now a US naval ship has come here to support India. This is a very huge strategic shift. As I said, this location particularly is very sensitive for China. China's trade depends on this route, and so what China will do next is it will send more patrol ships to Southeast Asia to pressure the Southeast Asian countries and to show that when such pressure comes, USA will not be there for help. Basically, it will try to prove the Asian countries including India that USA cannot and USA will not come for our rescue. But still, the presence of a US naval ship in the Indian Ocean region is very important. It is very significant because then China will at least pause for a bit and think before it takes any harmful steps. Stay connected with us for more such analysis.